It's like, if you wanna ride with me, you don't even know what ride is. Look, if you wanna get clean, you wanna get dirty, you wanna go left, right, this is what we do.
Well, it's the knocker, the chiz rocker. Party while I'm wine drinking. My rhymes will bust the whole way through your thinker. Forget your strategies when you battle. It's international.
Yeah, it's the Archivest, y'all. Exclusively interviewing Mr. Choclair.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Canadian iconic legend. And who is Choclair?
Man, Choclair is it's that guy in your neighborhood that everybody knows that just kind of keeps it on the low, keeps to himself, sees what goes on, understands how the dynamics and how everything works, but does his thing and holds it down on his own, you know?
And tell us about Scarborough, Ontario, and how has it been to rise out of this area out the 90s?
Man, well, Scarborough is, it's home, and I love it, and it's one of those places where, when you grow up there, over time you always end up seeing the same people, and now when you go out, you see them, you're like, that guy's from Scarborough. I know him. But yeah, man, it's cool, and coming out in that era, it was a great era because it was like that time when hip-hop was building itself up, and like things like the lyrics and the skills and all that stuff mattered a lot, and you were judged on that. People came to your high school to battle you to see if you were good enough to, for the hype people would build you up as, and so it really kind of made the MC, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people's favorite rappers will probably attribute their getting the skills that they have to an artist that was around in like the late 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. So, it was a great era of music, and it's, and it's there, and we're moving on into the new millennium now and stuff, and, there's great artists coming up now, but definitely nothing will beat in the 90s, hip-hop, I don't think anything will ever come up to that, compared to that.
And releasing 21 years, having an independent label in the late 90s, and being featured on Beat Factory, Rap Essentials Volume 1. How did this go for your rise to stardom?
Oh, well, it was, that launched a lot of stuff for me. That first record that we did, 21 years, on the flip side was Socrates' Father Time. And it was weird because at first everybody was playing Father Time, and I remember listening to 88.1, the Power Move Show with DJ X. And I remember some guy called in to the radio and says, look, we love that Father Time joint, but you really guys need to start playing that song on the other side, that Choclair song. I remember to the day, like I remember listening to this guy say that. And then DJ X was like, you know what, that's so true, because Socrates is a dope artist. And he's like, yeah, that's so true, let play it. And they started playing the other side, and that just went off for me and took off. And yeah, 21 years, I toured Canada for the first time with Rap Essentials. And from there, that's how I met the Rascals in Vancouver there. And first time I ever met them was at this club called Mars. And I met them there, and we became friends. And from that, I was working, but they would send me beats back, and they sent me some beats, and one of them happened to be Northern Touch. We did it, and then boom, went from there.
And what it takes, Choclair, what does it take to make it in the business in Canada?
Oh, a lot of patience and a lot of motivation, because unfortunately we don't have as much of the outlets, like as far as like radios and whatever. Like, the internet is big and it's huge, and everybody's using that right now, which is dope. But yeah, like there's, like as in the States, like there's so much more outlets to get out. So here, when you're doing it here and you're trying to bounce out into everywhere else, you got to really stay determined, and you can't let things kind of make you say, I don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, that's just what it takes. What it takes to make it is just determination, motivation, and willing to put in the work.
And tell us about the Northern Touch, and how was this collaboration with Canadian legends and accomplishing gold?
Oh, man. Well, like I said, it was like I was working. I got a phone call, and they said, yo, we have this beat, but we need you to go into the studio and do it up if you can. And that's back when they used to mail tapes before they did all the files and stuff like that. So I just had this big, huge piece of 2-inch tape. We brought it to the studio. Me and Thrust, we actually did paper, rock, scissors to see who went first and second and all this other stuff. I brought Cardi into the studio with me, and we all wrote the hook. and then we did that, and it just popped, like, you know. And then at that point too, we were kind of wondering, because then DMX came out with the exact same beat. What was it called? What's My Name? I forgot what that song was called. Yeah, so we were like, oh man, you know, like, because at that point too, hip hop in Canada, you know, we were still kind of fighting for our place amongst even just the listeners, because, you know, like, people would instantly discredit the song because they knew it was from Canada. And then now here comes DMX on the exact same beat that all these guys are on, and we were like, oh, they're gonna probably just play the DMX song, you know, like, that's what we didn't want to happen. But you know what? The people them, they stood behind it, rallied behind the tune, and made it what it was, and made it gold, and made us do all sorts of phenomenal things, selling out like the Commodore twice and stuff like that, like touring, just everything. And then that was really the kickstart to a lot of things for myself. And then after that, I made it right.
Actually, it's Get At Me Dog.
Get At Me
Yeah.
Dog. Yeah, that's
now,
it.
Where's My Dogs At? Just had to remember Archivest in it. And rising with Socrates, one of Canada's largest legends, and creating Let's Ride. Now, tell us more and what this did for you being very large in Canada after this. Big ups to Cardinal Off a Shelf for the beat.
Oh yeah, for Let's Ride, yeah. Well, me and Sox, like, I met him through a mutual friend at high school. And he just put us in contact with each other, but then we became really cool and just really started connecting and everything. So we started, you know, we really just started connecting and everything like that. And through him, I met Cardinal Official and Julie Black and everything like that. And I remember one time we were sitting in the car, I can't remember where and what. We were sitting in the car, and he asked me, he was playing beats, and he's asked me, he says, yeah, this beat's kind of fast, do you think you can do this one? I was like, guy, give me a day, let me go and write something to it. And then I wrote Let's Ride to that beat. And man, and then that's been, you know, boom, that's my foundation track for a lot of people, you know. They always, you know, when you do shows, you hear someone just yell out on the back, Let's Ride! You know what I mean? So, but yeah, but that's how it came along, that's how it came together.
And Rubbin', another banger. How the ladies like this on the tip, Lovin' Chisnock.
It's funny, a lot of people, when people hear the song now, I guess, they sit there and they be like, man, that sounds kind of dirty, you know what I mean? But it was said in such a kind of a clean way. And they loved it, like, you know, the girls loved the song. And I love the fact that they loved it. So, you know, that was it, you know. And then it was a shout out for all the fellas too, you know, like, you know, just whatever, so they can both put their chest out, so man, I got a rocket in my pocket, you know what I mean, and whatever. And that song, yeah, man, that's another one of those ones that people will be like, man, I love that song, you know, I love that song, and I like it too. And me and Sox, when we did it, we just did stuff. We didn't really know what we were doing and how we were making it and how it was going to be received. We just made music.
And collaborating with Corrupt from DPG, how was this for you, along with Guru, ODB, and Exhibit?
Well, man, working with Guru, rest in peace.
Tell us about that.
Was awesome. He, you know, we were both signed to Virgin. So he called me up, or no, we called him up and said, let's do it. We went to the famous D&D studios in New York, and in the other room was Black Moon, you know, like doing some work on some track. And DJ Premier was in another room, and Tony Touch was in another room. So I'm sitting here just amongst Mandem, you know? And yeah, we went in and we just wrote our stuff together and we did it. And they were feeling it so much that Tony Touch was down the hall in the other room, and he just kind of walks into the studio and says, what the hell's going on in here? And he came into scratches at the end. That's him cutting it up on the end of the track. So, you know, it was that was a great experience. Working with ODB, rest in peace as well, was great. It was interesting, but it was great at the same time.
Any funny memories about that?
Oh yeah, man, I just remember when he was just at one point when he told me that the best time of your life is when you're a kid, because all you got to do is shit and get fed. And there was more to the conversation, but that was pretty much a general thing about it. And it was cool. Me, Sox, we're in the studio for that. Memphis Bleak was dope. Went down to D&D Studios again in New York. Worked with him on that. And who else? Corrupt. went out to LA and did it. Actually, we did the track actually on September the 11th. That's why he comes in and is like, people want to bomb our trade center and stuff. You know, we did it on the day. I had to call him and be like, look, you know, I know there's some big stuff going on here. You want to reschedule? Are you cool? And he was like, no, man, let's go in and do it. And we did it. I was stuck there because he shut down the airports and everything, so I got stuck in LA for like about a week or so. Me and Socrates are always on the road. And then he would come up and then just be really cool. Like he would come up here and come and hang out when we shot the video for that. He was extremely cool. Went to Sox's house and made a bunch of beats, and he did some work with Sox on there. And a couple of years ago, I saw him at the Stylist Awards with Belly, because him and Belly did a track together, and he was just like, yo, what up, Shox? What up, man? You know, talking and whatever like that. So.